Renegades releases tomorrow, and with new changes on the horizon, it begs the question, what will be the best builds in Renegades? Well, I broke down all of the changes coming to the game and compared every build until I found the best build for each class for Renegades. Today's video will cover the build layout, the weapons to use, mods to use, and more. If you want to skip to a certain class, you can find the timestamps in the description below, but with that being said, I'm SniperKH, and let's get into the video. Let's start off with Hunters, as Hunters will be receiving a lot more love this expansion. If you want to go into the expansion with the best loadout, then you want to start off with your subclass, which will be Prismatic. The subclass layout can be found on screen now, but an important change to this build is that we'll be using Golden Gun for our super. The reason being is that Golden Gun is receiving a buff, while also pairing well with our exotic gear will be pairing with this build. Outside of that, the subclass layout is standard, with Combination Blow being our main ability, and Stylish Executioner and Ascension being used to increase our damage and survivability. To further increase our subclass's productivity, we'll enlist the help of certain fragments to increase our survivability and ability regeneration. For the survivability side of things, we're using Faceted Purpose and Faceted Protection. For the ability regeneration side of things, we'll be using Faceted Balance and Faceted Sacrifice. Now it's important we cover the full loadout for this build, including the exotic gear and legendary weapons, since this loadout will prove to be the best loadout for Hunters in endgame content. For the exotic armor, you'll want to use Celestial Nighthawk. It might seem confusing to use Celestial over a melee focused exotic, but Combination Blow's damage will be strong enough without a melee exotic, so you won't be losing out on too much using Celestial Nighthawk. Celestial will also be good as it turns our super into one of the strongest one-off supers in the game, whilst also buffing our main exotic weapon. For the weapons to use, you'll mainly want to use Still Hunt with this build, but pairing it with other weapons like 1-2 punch shotguns will do you well. Still Hunt makes its way back into the loadout following some recent buffs that will make this weapon an S tier option in the meta. As for stats to focus, you want to have a balance between melee, class, and super, as melee and class will ensure you have the classic Combination Blow synergy with your dodge, while also having enough points into super to buff your Golden Gun damage. So because of that, invest 70 points into both class and melee, then spend the rest on super. For mods to focus, you'll want the usual melee mods like hands-on and heavy-handed, while also using Solar Weapon Surge and Time Dilation to buff our weapons for a longer period of time. Overall, if you copy this loadout, I can guarantee you that your Hunter will be one of the strongest players on your fire team heading into Renegades. For Titans, there are two builds I could have chosen for this video. While Bull Charge Simulator would have been the safest pick, I wanted to highlight another build we were recently told will be incredible, being the Ursa Sentinel Shield build. For those of you who might be unaware, Bungie announced a buff coming to this super in Renegades that originally didn't seem too crazy, but with the recent Renegades dev stream we got, we were given more information that showed us truly how great this super will be. The information we were given is that when you block with this super, you will charge a bar on your screen, and when you throw a shield at max bar, that shield will do Thunder Crash levels of damage, which will make this one of the strongest supers in the game. In regards to the build, you can find the build layout on screen. Our aspects being Offensive Bulwark and Unbreakable will improve this build further thanks to them granting us an overshield and benefits with those overshields, such as faster ability regeneration. For our fragments, we'll be using Echo of Starvation, Echo of Undermining, Echo of Provision, and Echo of Leeching to improve survivability and ability regeneration. As for our selected exotics, we'll be using Ursa Furiosa as it will extend our super's duration while we're blocking, letting us get more damage out of our super. As for the weapons to use, you can honestly use whatever weapons you want with this build as there aren't many restrictions. In terms of what stats to focus with this build, I'd recommend Grenade and Super, as those two stats will heavily affect our two main abilities the most. For the mods to focus, I'd recommend grenade-centric mods like Ashes to Assets, Firepower, and Grenade Font to boost the benefits we get from our grenades. Otherwise, mods like Harmonic Siphon and Time Dilation will work fine with this build. While Bull Charge Simulator would have been an easy pick for this video, I wanted to highlight this build as I do believe this build will be incredible when Renegades releases tomorrow. Now for Warlocks, I wanted to highlight another build that will be crazy powerful in this next expansion, with that build being the Strand Suspending build. Now I want to make it pretty clear that the Prismatic Getaway Artist build is still going to be dominant in Renegades, but that build is already established and is recognized as a build that will be great. So because of that, I wanted to highlight this build instead, as I think this build has the potential to be the best boss DPS build for Warlocks and Renegades. As for other classes, you'll want to copy the subclass layout you see on screen. The main purpose with this build is to capitalize on our suspending capabilities thanks to the synergy between our shackle grenades and mindspun invocation, which will allow for us to suspend targets that we defeat after consuming our grenade. Additionally, we'll get bonus suspending capabilities from the Wanderer. To further capitalize on this, we'll be using fragments that benefit from suspending kills. Due to that, you'll want to use Thread of Mind, Thread of Generation, Thread of Warding, and Thread of Wisdom. As for the exotics to use, you'll absolutely want to pair this with Matadoxia. Matadoxia is receiving a major buff in Renegades, which will allow for it to have similar functionalities that Cuira's has with Thunder Crash, being that you'll get bonus damage with Needle Storm if you land 5 needles on a target. As for the weapons, there aren't many restrictions here, so use whatever you'd like. For the stats to focus, you want to focus Grenade and Super, as these two stats will affect our 2 most important abilities, granting them faster regeneration and more damage. As for mods to use, you'll want to focus grenade-centric mods like Ashes to Assets, Firepower, and Grenade Font. Additionally, using mods like Harmonic Siphon and Time Dilation will further this build's viability. While the Prismatic Getaway Artist build will continue to dominate in Renegades, I could see this build being right up there in terms of its strength and power, which is why you'll want to have it ready for tomorrow. Well, that'll wrap up today's video. If you found it helpful, a like rating would be greatly appreciated, and consider subscribing to the channel for more Destiny 2 content dropping soon. If you'd like more content from me, then be sure to follow my social media platforms linked below, or check out the video on screen now. My name is SniperKH, and I'm out. See you all in Renegades.